For my interactive oral, I focused on theatrical realism or realistic drama. Before I cover the facts behind theatrical realism or realistic drama, I'm going to focus on before the 19th century, known as the period of melodrama. Beginning in France, after the theater monopolies were abolished, melodrama became the most popular theatrical form. It brought in larger audience than the state-sponsored drama and operas. Although it can be traced back to Greece, melodrama did not appear until 1776 and became popular in the 1800s. Its conventions were false, its language was stilted and commonplace, its characters stereotypes, and its morality and theology gross simplifications. Yet its appeal was great and understandable. It took the lives of common people seriously and paid much respect to their superior purity and wisdom. It was an over-exaggerated piece, and many of the costumes did not fit the real-life examples. But by the end of the 19th century, the term melodrama had nearly exclusively narrowed down to a specific genre. It sometimes, or more or less, was the least dramatical piece structure that was ever seen, and often was only seen through poetry. It was looked down on as a genre for authors and composers of less stature. From the pictures presented in front, at the top you can see a theater that melodrama pieces would be presented in. And on the bottom right, you can see actors that would be present on the play. If you look closely, their characters are over-exaggerated and their costumes are extravagant and not real-life examples that you would see in the modern world. And the photo on the bottom left is an over-exaggerated act between a man and a woman. However, at the end of the 19th century, the realistic drama took over. Theatrical realism or realistic drama was a general movement in the 19th century that developed a set of dramatic and theatrical conventions with the aim of bringing a greater fidelity of real life to text and performances. It shared many stylistic choices with naturalism, including a focus on everyday middle-class drama, ordinary speech, and dull settings. Realism had a degree of choice that characters had. Realism asserts the power of an individual to choose, as we can see in this play we read, A Doll's House. The first professional playwright began a tradition of psychological realism, which culminated with the establishment of the Moscow Art Theater in Russia by Konstantin Stanislavski, who influenced many playwrights today. Stanislavski went on to develop his system, a form of actors' training that was particularly suited for psychological realism, a factor of the theatrical realism. In the 19th century, realism is closely connected to the development of modern drama, which, as Martin Harrison explains, is usually said to have begun in the 1870s. With the middle period work of the Norwegian dramatist Henrik Ibsen, Ibsen's realistic drama in prose has been enormously influential to the realistic drama we see today. As you can see in the top right corner, there's a picture of the famous man Stanislavski, who started this realistic drama and made it truly popular. A quote in the middle photo from The Adventures is about realism. The attempt in art and literature to depict lives as it really is, without sentimentalizing it or idealizing it. This is a focus on keeping it real or realism or realistic drama. The 5 factors that are present in realism is themes, innovations, conventions, playwrights, plays, and background knowledge on each character. As explained before, realistic drama is focused on what is going on in the real world. It's not over-exaggerated and it's not flawed. It's something that you would see if you walked into a modern house in the day, just like walking into a theater today. Focusing on The Doll House by Henrik Ibsen. Many people say that the plays that started this movement and made it as popular as it became was Hedda Gabler and A Doll's House, where its center on a female protagonist with almost a demonic energy proved both attractive and destructive for those around them. A Doll's House can show this through the actions of Nora. She was very attractive to the eye, as many people describe her in the playwrights, but also she was destructive to those around her and herself. Through the actions of borrowing the money and forging a signature, even though she was trying to do it for her husband's best, it put destruct on the family for Krogstad and for Miss Lynn. Although this piece was a realistic piece that was shown through Henrik Ibsens's work, it was also took a huge influence on the Stanislavski approach of writing. Henrik Ibsen is seen to be the person that moved this movement and made it as popular. And Doll's House was one of the things that started it all. Thanks for watching.